Hello everyone, welcome to Zaref Game Dev. In this video, we are going to create the CornerCross game unity. So it's another one simple hyper casual game, and there will be a couple more in this series, and I'll be quick about the next couple of games. So maybe it will be coming in around 2 days gap, and the assets for the game, as you already know, they are available in the GitHub link below. And I've created a game for the Play Store, which I uploaded on the Play Store. So if you want to check it out, the link for it will also in the description. So as you can see, we have an empty Unity project, and the first thing we are going to do is change our build settings to Android. So all the packages we need, they need to compatible with Android. And inside our assets, we are going to use assets for our rotate blast, and only the colors are going to be changed, which I'll be creating it myself, and you can directly get it from the GitHub link. So after we have changed our platform to Android, we'll import the TMP essentials and remove a couple of packages so our project is lightweight. So let's go inside and bring up the project settings. So inside the text mesh pro, let's import TMP essentials, and Mhm. So text mesh pro is getting imported. Let's delete this scene, we don't need it. We are going to create a own. And after TextMesh Pro is installed, we'll need to disable the warnings, which should be inside the settings. And finally, we'll remove our packages, which are all the necessary, which should be the VS Code package, the visual scripting, version control, test framework, and the Jet frameworks. As I'm using the Visual Studio Editor, if you are using VS Code or anything else, or if you want to use visual scripting for your own use afterwards, maybe you don't need to uninstall the packages. But remember, any of the packages you don't need, remember to uninstall it, because I think some of them increases the build size. I don't know, uh, almost like the build size was doubled when visual scripting was included, so it may include some of the assemblies. And as I'm always building with the default settings, most of the thing remains there only. So let's remove all the packages, and after that we'll delete our scenes folder and bring in our colors first, which is going to be inside the editor folder. You can directly download it from the current project. So the colors we are going to use are going to be from our current project, which is going to be the corner cross, and I'm going to directly bring in the editor folder, and all the rest of the files are going to be from our previous game rotate blast. So we are going to bring the prefabs, resources, scenes, and the scripts folder also. So after that you should be having the rotate blast game, and so everything should be installed perfectly fine. And let's go inside our scenes, and first we'll open the main menu, and let's add the open scene, and let's also add the gameplay. So both are loaded, and afterwards let's see if we can play the game. So this is our current game, and we created it in the last video, and let's hit play, and the game is working perfectly fine, and there are not any problems. So this is our previous game. First we'll create the UI. So it's just going to be changing the colors as we are using similar setup. And afterwards we'll start changing all the prefabs. So let's first go inside our main menu and we'll change our colors. So for our colors, let's first change our main camera color, which is going to be our grayish color, and all of are going to be the green color, which you can like directly get it from the uh, color palette. And the text and the images, similarly, they are going to be our white color. For now they are the gray one, and that's going to be our default colors. And let's view them. And iPhone 12, so this is looking good. We'll need to change the title. So this game is called CornerCross, and as the name suggests, we are going to move the player from one turn to another turn. So it's just simple. Uh, every game is almost like Flappy Bird type of game, just one movement and one touch, and just the movement changes. And there are some obstacles, there may be different types of obstacles, but almost everything is similar. So we created the main menu. Let's go inside our gameplay scene and we'll start changing a couple of things. So the first thing we need to change is the main camera's background color. Again, it is going to be the whitish. And after that, we'll need to change the color of our score, which is going to be again the dark color. And maybe we don't need the obstacles, but we are going to delete it as our player is going to move itself. And now we have only four spokes, so let's delete them too. And these four spokes are going to be arranged. So let's first set the rotation to 0, and afterwards the first one we are going to add 45, and the next three will add 90, and similarly we'll add 90 to the last two, and the final one we are going to add 90 again. And our player, we can't see it now because it's currently white. We also need to change it to our dark bluish color and put it at the center for now, and we'll see what we need to change. But before that, let's change our UI. So similarly, it's black color, we'll need to change it to white, and our end score needs to be changed to the green, and the rest of them, this one will need to change it to grayish color, but let's change it to black. And all the four of them, we are going to change them to black. And I suppose, yeah, that's it. So this was our end screen. The animations are going to be similar, no changes here. And our game manager is also going to be similar. We are just going to change some scripts and we should be good to go. So the first thing inside our gameplay, what we need to do is our score. So let's rename the score. And yeah, it's score only. And our score explosion and the white and the yellow explosion, let's delete them. So we also don't need the white explosion, but let's look at this yellow explosion and we'll call it only explosion. And I don't think we are going to need it, but let's just set its color to black. So this is the only explosion that we are going to need. And let's also change our score. So our score currently has a score script. The active color is going to be our dark one, and our inactive is going to be the grayish one. Maybe we'll change it to a bit more grayish. Yeah, it would be better. So this is our score, and we don't need our score like this. So we'll need one more asset, which is going to be our two pixels, which are going to be the bar and the pixel. I don't know. I think our pixel would be more than enough. So let's change our pixel first. And the arrangement for our pixels, it was going to be like it's a square at the center and two circles at the edges, and because there is a square at the center we are not able to see the full circle, so it's like a semicircle at the edges. So we'll create that. uh, 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 uh. Hmm, hmm. So our explosion, I think we'll need a green one. Let's add a green explosion, then we'll add a score, and we'll also need to create an obstacle. So let's first change the color of our explosion. So this one needed to be our green one. I don't know when we'll spawn it. And let's go inside our score. And our score is going to have a tag of score. Nothing else needs to be changed. And similarly, it is going to have a box collider 2D. Coordinate layer needs to be higher. And the size, it's going to be similar, so let's remove the circle collider 2D, and we'll need to add a box collider 2D and set it to trigger, or else it won't detect. So let's move it up. And the size, currently it's not good, so its size is going to be 2 by 3.2. So it looks good. Now let's create an empty, and we'll just call it circle1, and we'll add a sprite renderer component, and here we'll add the circle, set it to sliced, change the size to 1.6 by 1.6, and move it at 0.8, and we'll change its color to our dark one. Why this one was okay, so now it's good. And after we duplicated it, we forgot to change the naming. Let's change it to -0. So after we change this, we should be able to see our whole screen correctly. So this is how our game's going to look. And now we'll start changes with our players. So player slot's going to be the smaller. It is -4.5 to 5 and 4.55. So it's going to be its positioning size. Its size is going to be higher. 1.6 by 1.6. Ordinary layer is higher. It has a circle collider 2D. Uh, its size is correct. And particle system, I think we'll need to change a couple of things. So the start lifetime is going to be 1.2, and the start size is going to be 0.64. There is no start rotation. Color, for as you already know, uh, our player is green, so it's going to be green. We'll need to decrease the emission rate to 8, and everything else is going to be same. So This is our player. It's going to move from one corner to another, and there are going to obstacles from the right side and nothing else. So what we need to do is create our obstacles. So let's create an empty and we'll call it obstacle, obstacle, and our center doesn't have anything. Okay, it has this thing. We'll need to remove everything. So remove. We are also going to remove our rotate script. So let's delete our rotate script. And there are going to be a couple of changes, but we'll see it after. And our obstacle will need to add reset its component. First we'll add a sprite render component, and afterwards we'll attach a box collider 2D component and also a tag of obstacle which is going to be set to trigger, and its size is going to be 1.28 or maybe 1.6. Let me see. So our obstacle size is going to be 1.28 by 1.28. So instead of simple, let's make it sliced. 0.28 by 1.28, and similarly here 0.28. And its color will need to set it to black color as it is black, and currently on here we'll need to set it to 1, but I don't know wherever. Maybe let's set it to, I can't see it. Okay, so there is no sprite. We'll need to add the pixel sprite. Hmm. So now we can see it. This is our obstacle which is going to be moving from the right. And we are going to save this obstacle as a prefab, and it's also going to need an obstacle script which we are going to create it here. So we also need to clean up our player script. So many things to do. So let's first see what we need to do first. So this is our basic scene, and so many things won't work if we start the game, but let's start and see what the errors are. So let's go into simulator, play the variable explosion prefab in the, okay. Yeah, so many errors, and we'll start fixing up. So we'll go from the basic scripts that we start our audio manager, constants which we don't need to change. Also, we won't be needing the, where are our scripts? So audio manager, no change. We don't need the center. We only need the score and the obstacle. Afterwards, game manager, we are going to change. Main menu manager, no changes. Obstacle, we are going to add a script. Player, similarly everything is going to change, so let's delete the whole code and we are going to add our own code. And similarly score, it is going to be similar, and there's not going to be any change inside the score. So let's first see inside our game manager. Audio manager, constants, game manager, and let's divide hashtag region on a behavior. Methods, and it is going to be inside the awake, and inside the start will do the end region. So our mono behavior methods are going to be inside our mono behavior, and here we'll create a region for starting variables which are going to maybe used everywhere, and it's not necessary to do this, but it would be good if we do it at the start. So these are for the UI panels. Update uh, move color we don't need, total score targets, current target index, current move index, and there will be some errors and we are going to fix them up. So we don't need to update move color, and similarly our update score is going to be changed, current move index, and there are no errors, so it will update the score, and these are going to be our starting variables. And let's see what we need more in our starting. Current target index, active, its score is here. Hmm. So no change in our first part, and inside the mono behavior methods we are not going to add, and this one will call the UI methods. So if we are any methods for our UI, we'll add them here, and this is just going to be for the toggle sound and the end game. So till the end game, these are our UI methods. Mm, 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 mm. And inside our UI, we are going to have our update score events, and we'll also bring our update score inside before, right before our. So there's going to be update score here, and that should be it for our UI. Now after our UI is shown, there is our game start and the game end, both animations. So we'll create one more region for that, and hashtag region game start and animations. So if any more animations are there, we'll add them here. Let's do the end region. So I don't think we don't need anything else. Hmm. But we'll need one more region for obstacle spawning, and hashtag end region. So this is going to be the extra region we are going to add, and in our obstacle spawning, what we are going to do is we'll call this function when the game starts, and what it needs to do is get a game object, which is going to be our obstacle prefab. And serialized field private. Hmm. Using system.collections.generic, and it is going to spawn at our positions, and there's going to be an interval which is going to be a private float, and we'll call it obstacle spawn time. And what we'll do is we'll create an enumerator, and it's going to be I spawn obstacles, and what it will do is where an interval is equals to new wait for seconds, and we are going to wait for the spawn time, and our spawn position is going to be obstacle spawn pause, OBSTS. Obstacle spawn pause. Here will pass random dot range unity engine dot random dot range from 0 till obstacle spawn pause dot. So it will spawn our position, and till our game is not ended, we are going to instantiate our obstacle. So we'll need to do has game ended. I start game, has game ended is equals to false, and has game ended is equal to true. And we'll need to create has game ended function. Has game ended boolean. So where should we create? Yeah. Game start and game end. There were private bool has game ended, and when the game starts we are going to set has game ended to false, and when the game ends, which is going to be inside the game over, has game ended to true. So when the game ends we are just going to set it to true, and there's our boolean, and we are going to use this boolean inside our while loop. So while not our game has ended, we are going to instantiate our obstacle prefab at the spawn pause. So instantiate obstacle prefab our spawn pause, and it's going to be at quaternion.identity, and will yield return for the time interval, and will change the position again. And here assigning vector 3, no need. So this is going to be our vector spawning function, and it is going to be called inside our start. So before the game started method is invoked, so start coroutine, and I spawn off. And after we pass in our methods, we should be able to see our obstacle spawning. So the only thing we added was removed a couple of scripts, and let's go inside gameplay, added a method for spawning our obstacle. So up above we are not going to change anything, but inside our prefabs let's add our obstacle. There are going to be 3 obstacle spawning positions, and our obstacle spawn pause is going to be 15 0 and 0, uh, 15 3.2 and 0, in negative 3.2, and time let's just set it at 1 point. So now the game starts, our player does not have anything, and our obstacles are not going to do anything. So let's see what would happen. Our score is similar, there is no need to change anything, our player is not moving. So let's go inside the scenes and the main menu, and let's now hit play. So we should be, yeah, the obstacles are spawning, but there is no movement for the obstacles. So let's create the movement script first, as it's just going to be adding a movement script for the obstacle. So let's go inside our obstacle. We'll add an obstacle script and we'll go inside Visual Studio and we'll start editing our obstacle script. So inside our obstacle script, so let's create a serialized field and we'll create a private float for the move speed and our max offset, and inside our next update we are just going to set transform dot position plus is equals to move speed multiplied by time dot fixed delta time, and we'll multiply it by the dot f, and if our position x less than max offset, then we'll just destroy our game object. And after that, the only thing remaining is going to be our player and our score. And our score is just going to have two more sprite renders because we added the two circles and they also need to be changed. So we added the movement script to the obstacle. Now let's go inside Unity and let's set up those values. So our move speed, it is going to be 8 and our offset it is going to be -15. So let's set it to 8 and -15, and I suppose we are inside the main menu, so let's hit play, and now we should be able to see the obstacles moving. And currently if you are seeing it is shaky enough, what we are going to do is let's go inside project settings and let's change our time dot delta time fixed time step to 0.005 so it's not more shaky. Now the only thing that remaining to do is inside the player, so how the player movement is going to behave, and inside our sprite SR1 and SR, and here also, I mean it is correct. Let's see. Let's go inside Visual Studio and everything is set up, but inside our score we also need to change the sprite color for our two circles. So let's change that script, and what we are going to do is to create a color variable here and we'll call it current color, and our current color it is going to be this, and instead of something sr1 dot color is equals to sr2 dot color, and it is going to be current color, so it will change all three of those colors, and we'll need to get the references to both of them. So let's add the circle 1 and circle 2 to the sprite render 1, and that's it for our score. And finally we are going to code up our player. So our player is currently empty, so first thing our player needs is going to be the move positions. So let's create a serialized field, private list of vector3, and we'll call it move positions. And after that, we are going to create serialized field private float move time, and this move time is going to be time to move from one move position to another. Private float current move position. So this one, it is going to be the value from 0 to 4. So if it is 0 and plus some value, then it is in between 0 and the first, and whatever the float value is, uh, it is going to be that one. And private goal can shoot, and we'll have a serialized field for the audio clips. And here we are going to have our move clip, then our point clip, and our score clip, and finally those clip. So if we move, if we score and serialized field, private game object, and explosion, prefab. And I don't think, if we need, we'll create it afterwards. So what's going to be inside awake? So current move position is going to start at 0f. Can move is going to be false, and can shoot is going to be false. And finally your move speed is going to be 1 divided by move time. And on enable and on disable, we are going to have a game started function in which we are going to set can shoot to true and can move to, and game manager dot game started dot game started, this is equals to game started. And let's copy this, and here we'll unsubscribe. And inside our update method, if we can shoot and input dot get mouse button down of 0, then we'll multiply the move speed by -1, and we'll play our move clip. And similarly inside our next update, if we cannot move, then we'll return. But if we can move, then our current move position is going to be move speed multiplied by time dot fixed delta time. So that was our current move position, and afterwards we'll check if our current move position is less than 0f, then our current move function is going to be move positions dot count. And similarly, if our current move position is greater than move positions dot count, then our current move position is going to be 0f. And after that, we are going to have a couple of variables. So it is only going to be needed inside the fixed update, so that's why we are just creating it here. Start index and end index, so it does not assign the memory each time a fixed update is called. And private float for the move distance, and finally private vector 3 for the start position. So how our position is going to be calculated? First we'll get the start index, which is going to be mathf.float, and here we are going to pass our current move position, and we are going to percentage it by our move positions. So it will get us the starting index. So if float is 0, 0.5, then the starting index is 0. And similarly, we'll get the end index, which is going to be start index plus 1. And similarly, we'll need to percentage it by the move positions dot count. Doesn't go beyond that value. And similarly, we'll set the move position. So current move position percentage move positions dot count. So and finally percentage by minus start index. So if it starts at 0 point some value, then I mean it will just get us the fractional parts, and our start position is going to be both positions for our start index, and our end position is going to be move positions for our X. And they are currently float. We'll need to set to an int, and after that what we are going to do, our transform dot position set to start position plus our move distance, which we calculated the fractional part, and we'll multiply it by our offset, going to be the position minus start. So it will move from corner to corner, and if we click then it will change the direction. On collision enter 2D, not on collision. On trigger enter 2D. First we will check collision dot compare tag. The first tag is tags dot go, and we'll need to check the ID and play the sound. Else let's get the second option for collision dot compare tag constraints dot tags dot obstacle. Then the game is finished, and before finishing the game we are going to destroy instantiate explosion prefab water. We are going to spawn our explosion. We will play the loose sound, and game manager end the game, and finally we will destroy our game. Now, when we hit a score, if some condition is satisfied, which is going to be the color is same, else we are just going to call the audio manager dot play sound. And here we didn't score the play sound, else we'll call the game manager dot update score and audio manager dot dot play sound, and here we scored, so we'll play the score. Now what is going to be the condition? So collision dot game object dot current score, and that current ID is equals to our game manager dot instance dot current target. So if it is similar, then we are going to update the score. So that should be it for the player. Now the only thing remaining is setuping a variable. So let's go inside Unity and let's see explosion. It is our green one. 4, no changes. Obstacle, perfectly fine. Inside our scenes and inside our main menu. Game manager, again no changes. We already set up everything. Now let's set up our player. Going to be some changes around. So we'll need our move clips, and we'll first add our explosion prefab, and our move time, it is going to be, ouch, let's set up as just 1 second for now. We will set it to 1 point, and there are going to be 4 move positions. So let's first set up one position, which is negative 4.5 to 5 and 4. Now instead of negative, it is going to be positive, and is going to be negative, and find both of them. So this are going to be our positions. We'll need to add our clips. So first we have our loose clip, then we have our move clip, and if we score something, so we should have a hit clip, which is going to be, but we are going to need, so which is going to be our point clip, and let me bring inside. So our point clip is going to go inside our point, and finally we should have everything working. Hmm. Yeah, nothing else was needed, and I don't know why we needed collider for. Hmm. Do we need colliders? No, as it is already calculating, we won't be. So let's see what errors do we get. So let's hit play and we'll fix. So everything's working fine, but our player is moving too slow. So we'll need to decrease its time by half, or maybe again more smaller. So let's go inside our gameplay scene and decrease the move time by 0.8. And let's hit play from the main menu because we don't want any errors. And again, the start screen is slow. This is perfectly fine. And there's a problem with all of our obstacles, and I think it may be. Let's go inside our gameplay, and first inside our game manager, the time to move, let's decrease it by 0.64, and everything else is fine. The total targets, we need to set this to 4 so it doesn't change much. And finally inside our center, I think our every score is set to 0, 1, 2, and finally 3. So now it should be fine. Maybe it should be fine, but let's see if we get more errors. So this is the game. So the game's finished, and that was it for this game. And uh, I'm going to create a couple of more such games, so it would be good practice. And after that, will be, I don't know, we'll see that afterwards. And if you guys watch till now, thank you guys for watching. And if you want more such games, almost all of them are simple, just one movement and one input, not much obstacle logic. So do like and comment the video, and if you are new to the channel, do subscribe to the channel for more updates. And also do download my game, which is going to be inside the Play Store link. And thank you guys for watching, and see you guys in the next video.